Okay, thanks everyone for joining us. So today we're going to talk about the TruConnect consulting services that we offer. So essentially it's a range of solutions from Trump, and these solutions help you automate your factory. You can start from getting started to improving gradually to having your entire factory connected. So in terms of the TruConnect consulting that we offer through Headland and New Zealand, we take more of a holistic approach. So we start with your smart factory vision, what you have in mind to start with, what this looks like. We might even help you define that, talk about what's possible. We also look at your entire processes, production flow, software, even talk about automated machinery. And I guess the glue that sticks this all together is the TruConnect software, which today we have our experts here to talk us through that. We've got Michael, Colin and Lynn. So these are our TRUMPF TruConnect application specialists that we have around Australia and New Zealand. So maybe we can start with first, Michael, did you want to introduce yourself and talk about you've probably been with us the longest, your experience and what value you can add to the process in terms of helping our customers. And I guess probably the more important thing is that the support that we provide throughout the process, and then following on from any sort of implementations or recommendations as well.
So my name is Michael Lynn. I've been working with Headland now since around 2004. Before this, I was in the engineering sector and the manufacturing sector, starting way back in 1989 in general fabrication, then moving on to the CNC machines such as a TruPunch 200. That's quite an old machine now. Over the years, I've moved only a couple of times through different companies, and each time I've always looked at which companies are moving forward rather than just stagnating and standing still. And one company that I moved to was always at the forefront of the latest technology, and we had one of the first true lasers into the country back in 1993. We then invested in a combination punch laser, the TC600L, in 1996, and upgraded this one as well in 2000 to the new 6000 model that was released. And during all this time, I was responsible for programming, operating, and training our staff at the time on the different machines.
So this was the manufacturing company?
Yes.
Yeah.
And through these years, I was also responsible for looking after production of the laser machines, punching machines, etc. I also worked on the TruBend machines and some of the CNC welding machine that we had. Looking after quoting in the office, routing of the jobs, that sort of thing, engineering, and moving into 3D design as well in the late 90s. Since joining Headland around 2004, I've been responsible for the TruTops software and training all our customers around Australia on how to use their software to the best advantage.
So you've had a really good, I guess, working for other manufacturers, you've had a good overview of what's involved in running a business and the entire production flow from sort of quoting through to dispatch, which gives you that background as well.
Yeah, that's, I think, by actually doing, you tend to learn so much. So being able to, start from the scratch when you first sit down with a customer and look at their drawing on a piece of paper or a napkin was always the old fun one, to convert that into an actual CNC drawing, which we could process and run through the whole factory. quoting, subcontracting, that sort of thing. And then, as you said, finally dispatching out to the customer.
So in terms of some of the customers that you've helped since being at Headland, what's been sort of something that you've been most proud of?
I think working with Headland and TRUMPF, it's always nice to be working with such a strong brand, and we have the latest machinery is coming out all the time. It's always being updated. The software just keeps improving. There's always new changes, and it's starting to make a real difference to the way we manufacture these days.
And if you, like in terms of when you say you've implemented software, you've helped people improve their processes, production flow, and you've seen the results, have you found it really rewarding to then speak to the customer about, how they feel it's improved their business and their bottom line?
Yes, absolutely. So by now connecting their MRP system or ERP system into TruTops Boost or TruTops Fab, we're getting rid of some of the biggest bottlenecks in the paperwork shuffle that used to occur, and the productivity gains that we can now see are making such a big difference. Used to take a programmer hours of sorting and getting himself ready to do a nest, is now pretty much done in minutes. And then he can do a nest. The software's new nesting profiles are generating nests that a well-trained programmer would probably take an hour to do, whereas the software can do this in 10 minutes. So the performance gains are also, very good return on investment, I think.
All right, Colin, did you want to go next and tell us about your experience and how you've helped some customers at Headland?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Colin Brown. I've been with Headland for the last 7-8 months now. Previously actually working for the previous TRUMPF agent over here in New Zealand 6 years prior. And obviously prior to that, you'll actually hear from the accent that I'm actually originally from Scotland, where I actually started my journey into the sheet metal manufacturing industry. So I started back in 1998. Actually similar path to what Michael's actually been down, and actually operating some of the TRUMPF machinery, TRUMPF punch machines, the TC500R, with storage systems. Then actually progressing up to the TruPunch 5000 back then, and also the TruLaser 2530 plus. And then from there, I actually then branched into something similar again to Michael, branched into the programming side of things. And then from there, actually more moved into a production management role, where we then actually started to implement kind of lean manufacturing initiatives within the company, which was quite a good learning curve for myself. Gave me quite an insight from a business perspective on the possibilities of production improvements, and that actually greatly helped my personal education pathway. So from there, I then actually moved from the production management side of things, moved into the engineering and project management, where we actually looked at the design of the components, how they were actually better utilised within the company for a manufacturing perspective within sheet metal. Quite a few customers don't actually realise that the designs they actually produce are often not they're not possible to actually manufacture them in the way that they've actually designed the components. So just actually advising the customers of the changes required to actually be able to manufacture those parts within the sheet metal work industry, specifically through the likes of the bending side of things is obviously a big key area. Also within my role when I was back in Scotland was an area to actually look at just the business justifications for new initiatives. And one of those was actually utilising some of the TRUMPF software, the TruTops Fab Quick Job module, in which time we went through the full evaluation and had to put forward a justification in order to actually implement that into the business. And it proved to be very popular, and it was very highly seen, sought after product at the time, and it paid dividends for the company in the end. So from there, I then actually moved over to New Zealand and started with the TRUMPF agent at the time, where I've since been responsible for all the applications, not only within software but within machine operation, on customer training, and also implementation of the software as well.
And in terms of how you've helped customers, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so obviously with the experience I actually had, that's obviously held me in good stead, where on a number of occasions I've actually helped the customers actually develop new process flows throughout their business, mainly from the likes of the cutting and the bending areas, how some of the latest innovations could actually help better produce the components to be able to, one, be more productive, so that the lead time of the component is actually reduced, but also actually be of a cost benefit to them as well.
So when you say cost benefit, can you explain that a bit more?
Yes, so from a cost perspective, obviously producing a component a lot quicker through the process is obviously of high advantage, but also like I said, the design of the components, we have actually seen that by actually educating some of our customers on the capabilities, not only of the likes of the punching machines, but the tooling capabilities that's actually available out there that can actually help to reduce secondary processes, so that we can actually reduce extrusions and taps to likes of replace PEM inserts on components, and that the likes of those types of scenarios are actually, once the customer's actually taken them on board and actually invested in some of the tooling, they're actually reaping the rewards for it.
Awesome. Ming, did you want to go next and introduce yourself and talk about your experience?
Yep, all right. So my name's Ming. I've been, I think, involved with the manufacturing since back in 1996, and it's always been the sheet metal manufacturing. So I joined this company, and I was with initially started with the process engineering department. So doing finishing and doing troubleshooting and process improvements for the finishing side of the manufacturing. After I think about a couple of years, I was transferred to do design and development, and that obviously had me involved with a lot of programming and a lot of 3D modeling software. So I started doing contract manufacturing with this new role, and what I found was that a lot of cases where we get parts that we needed manufacture, they weren't specifically designed to be easily manufactured. So obviously I learned over the years of doing this that there's a big cost impact. So when the company that I was with transitioned from contract manufacturing to actually manufacturing their own product, we had the opportunity to fine-tune our processes and fine-tune our designs to make everything work a little bit better as a whole. This obviously increased our profitability, and I think so I came to Australia and I joined Headland, and we've been with Headland for about a year now, and I think I see a lot of people which could benefit from that kind of expertise. Yeah.
So looking at how their parts are produced and doing that more efficiently.
Yes, and also like fine-tuning the process. So basically, the concept that I've been working with is if I'm sending out or if I'm making something, if I start making something, it's got to be good from the start. So there's part of the I think the job that I was doing. I think my boss is always stressing that if you're going to send it out and if it's going to be made, it's got to be right. We don't, and then he did stress a lot that prototyping is expensive, and so the goal is to not prototype and get it right.
Yeah, produced high quality parts.